The moment she pulls away, she expects something from you. Maybe she does not say it. Maybe she does not even admit it to herself. But somewhere in the back of her mind, she expects the message. She expects the question. She expects the paragraph. She expects you to break first. She expects your pain to make you reach. And this is where most men lose. They stay silent for a few days, but their silence is weak. Their phone is quiet, but their mind is screaming. They are not texting her, but they are checking her stories. They are not calling her, but they are asking friends about her. They are not saying anything, but every part of their energy is still begging for her to notice. That is not silence, that is waiting in disguise. But when you stay silent longer than she expected, and your silence comes from real self respect, not games, something starts to shift. In a few minutes, you will understand why your silence only becomes powerful when it is connected to disciplined growth and emotional control. And before this is over, you will know exactly what to do when she finally tests the door again, because that is where most men throw away all the power they built. The first thing that happens when you stay silent longer than she expected is that her certainty begins to weaken. At first, she may be sure you will chase. She may know your pattern. She may remember how you reacted before. She may expect you to send something emotional. She may expect you to ask why she changed. She may expect you to try to prove your love. She may expect you to keep offering attention even after she pulled away. But then you do not. One day passes, then another, then a week, then longer. And suddenly, the man she thought she could predict is not behaving the same way anymore. That creates curiosity, not because you are manipulating her, not because you are trying to punish her, but because your old pattern has been broken. The old version of you would have chased, the old version would have explained, the old version would have checked, posted, reacted, and waited. But this version is different. This version steps back. This version stays calm. This version does not reward distance with desperation. That is what makes silence powerful. Most men think silence alone creates attraction. It does not. Silence without strength is just absence. Silence with self respect becomes presence without words. There is a difference. If you are silent but checking her profile every night, your energy is still weak. If you are silent but hoping every notification is her, you are still trapped. If you are silent but building your entire life around her return, you are not healing. You are waiting. And waiting is not masculine power. Waiting says, my life is paused until you come back. Self respect says, my life continues whether you come back or not. That is the difference she eventually feels. Because a woman can feel when a man is still emotionally available to her, even if he is not texting. She can feel when his silence is needy. She can feel when his no contact is just a countdown. She can feel when his posts, his changes, his mood, and his routine are secretly built around her reaction. That does not create respect. It creates pressure in a different form. Real silence is clean. It does not beg. It does not perform. It does not try to make her jealous. It does not announce itself. It does not say, look how unbothered I am. It simply removes your energy from a place where it is no longer being valued. That is when your absence begins to have weight. You cannot be missed if you refuse to become absent, and most men refuse to become absent. They keep themselves in her world through little weak habits. They view the story, they like the post, they ask one friend, they post one quote, they leave one emotional breadcrumb. They tell themselves it is nothing, but it is not nothing. It is still access, and access without respect weakens your value. If she pulled away and still receives your attention, she does not feel the cost of losing you. If she went cold and you still keep checking in, she does not feel the space. If she chose distance and you keep filling that distance with emotional signals, then you are not allowing reality to happen. Let reality happen. If she wants space, let her feel space. If she wants silence, let her feel silence. If she wants life without your presence, step back enough for her to actually experience it. That is not revenge, that is maturity. The second thing that happens when you stay silent longer than she expected is that you stop feeding her ego. Not by attacking her, not by trying to hurt her, not by acting cruel. You stop feeding her ego by no longer proving that she controls your emotions. Every time you chase after she pulls away, you feed the idea that she has power over you. Every time you over explain after she goes cold, you feed the idea that her distance makes you smaller. Every time you beg for closure, you feed the idea that her words are the only thing that can give you peace. A man must be careful with where he gives power. Because when a woman feels that her silence can make you collapse, your value begins to look unstable. That does not mean she is evil. It means people notice what affects you. People notice when their actions control your behavior. People notice when your boundaries disappear because you are afraid of losing them. And once someone learns that fear makes you abandon yourself, respect becomes weaker. A man with self respect does not let fear lead him. He may still feel fear. He may still feel pain. He may still miss her. He may still hope things could be different. But he does not let those emotions turn into weak behavior. He feels it, but he does not obey it. That is masculine control, not being emotionless, not pretending you do not care, not acting like love means nothing. Control means your emotions are real, but your standards are stronger. You can miss her and not text. You can love her and not chase. You can want answers and still not beg. You can feel rejected and still not become bitter. That is the kind of man silence creates when silence is done correctly. The third thing that happens is that you begin to rebuild self trust. This is the part most men ignore. When you keep breaking your own promises, you lose trust in yourself. You say, I will not text her, then you text. Say, I will not check her story, then you check. You say, I am done chasing. Then one lonely night pulls you right back into the old pattern. Every time you break your own word, your confidence gets weaker. Not because of her, because of you. Your mind starts learning that your emotions are stronger than your standards. Your body starts learning that discomfort controls you. Your identity starts becoming, I am a man who cannot hold himself together when a woman pulls away. That destroys confidence. But when you stay silent longer than she expected and you keep that promise to yourself, something changes inside you. You start trusting yourself again. You say, I felt the urge, but I did not obey it. You say, I wanted to check, but I protected my peace. You say, I wanted to send that message, but I chose dignity. You say, I was hurting, but I did not humiliate myself. That is proof. And confidence is built from proof, not fake motivation, not loud words, not pretending you are strong. Proof. Every disciplined action becomes evidence that you can lead yourself. That matters more than her return, because if you cannot lead yourself when she is gone, you will not lead yourself when she comes back. And that is where many men fail. They survive the silence, then fail to return. They stay quiet for weeks. They start feeling better. They start rebuilding. Then she sends one small message, hey, and everything collapses. He replies instantly. He writes too much. He asks if she misses him. He asks what this means. He tries to secure her too fast. He starts acting like the same anxious man she left. And suddenly, all that silence did not create strength. It only created waiting. Do not be that man. If she reaches out, you stay calm. A small message is not a full return. A hey is not commitment. A miss you is not change behavior. A story view is not love. A late night text is not accountability. A woman testing the door is not the same as a woman walking through it with clarity. So when she finally sends something, do not worship the message. Do not punish her either. Do not act cold just to look strong. Do not become arrogant. Simply stay centered. If she says, hey, you can say, hey, hope you're doing well. That is enough. Then observe, does she bring clarity? Does she show consistency? Does she respect your pace? Does she take responsibility? Does she show genuine interest, or does she only want to see if she still has access to your emotions? A grounded man watches actions. A needy man gets drunk on words. Do not get drunk on words. Words are easy when someone is lonely. Words are easy when guilt appears. Words are easy when another option fails. Words are easy when nostalgia hits at night. But consistency is harder. Accountability is harder. Respecting your boundaries is harder. So move slowly. A real return can handle patience. A fake return cannot. The fourth thing that happens when you stay silent longer than she expected is that you stop making her the center of your life. This is where real healing starts. At first, everything in you may still revolve around her. You wake up and wonder if she texted. You work, but your mind drifts to her. You train, but part of you hopes she somehow sees it. You post, but secretly you wonder if she checked. You sleep, but before closing your eyes, you think about what she is doing. That is not love anymore. That is emotional attachment controlling your attention. And your attention is your power. Where your attention goes, your energy follows. If your attention is on her silence, her profile, her choices, her possible new man, her mood, her return, then your energy is not building your future. It is feeding your wound. A high value man protects his attention. He does not give his mind to someone who is not choosing him. He does not spend his best hours thinking about someone who asks for distance. He does not make another person's uncertainty the center of his identity. He returns to his own life, his body, his work, his faith, his money, his sleep, his routine, his discipline, his standards, his future. And when a man returns to his own life, his energy changes. He stops feeling like someone waiting to be chosen. He starts feeling like someone who has chosen himself. That is powerful because the man who has chosen himself does not need to chase. He may still care, he may still remember, he may still feel something, but he is no longer controlled by it. That is freedom. Now, let us talk about the late night moment because this is where silence gets tested. It is late. Your room is quiet. Your phone is beside you. Your mind starts replaying everything, her voice, her smile, the way she used to act before she changed, the good days, the warm messages, then the coldness, the distance, the confusion, the rejection. Suddenly, you want to send something, not a big message, just something simple. I hope you're okay. I've been thinking about you. I hope there's no bad blood. I just wanted to apologize. It sounds mature. It sounds harmless. It sounds calm. But tell yourself the truth. You are not sending it because you are at peace. You are sending it because you want relief. You want her to reply. You want one sign. You want proof that she still cares. You want the pain to quiet down for a moment. That message is not peace, it is a hook. And if she does not take the hook, you will feel worse. A strong man tells himself the truth before he acts. He does not hide desperation under polite words. He does not call panic love. He does not call anxiety closure. He does not call checking her profile curiosity. He says, I want to do this because I want relief. Then he chooses discipline. He writes the message in his notes and does not send it. He puts the phone away. He walks. He trains. He prays. He sleeps. He lets the urge rise and fall without obeying it. That is how a man becomes stronger, not by avoiding pain, but by leading himself through it. The fifth thing that happens when you stay silent longer than she expected is that her imagination starts doing what your words could not. When you keep explaining, you remove mystery. When you keep texting, you remove space. When you keep proving, you remove curiosity. But when you step back calmly and continue your life, you leave room for her to wonder, did he move on? Is he happier? Did I lose access? Why is he not chasing? Was I too quick to walk away? Was his presence more valuable than I realized? Again, this is not something you force. This is not a game. This is what happens when you stop interrupting silence. Silence gives people space to think, but if you keep appearing, she never has to think deeply. She only has to react to your pressure. She only has to respond to your messages. She only has to feel that you are still there. So stop appearing. Let your absence speak, and while it speaks, build. Because if your silence is empty, it will eventually break. But if your silence is filled with discipline, it will strengthen you. There is a huge difference between a man who is silent because he has nothing else and a man who is silent because he is busy rebuilding his life. One is waiting, the other is becoming. Become, for the next 7 days, do not message her first. Do not check her stories. Do not ask mutual friends about her. Do not post to get her attention. Do not make emotional decisions at night. Do not reread old messages until your chest hurts. Do not listen to sad songs for hours and call it healing. For 7 days, train your body, handle your work, clean your room, fix your sleep, eat properly, drink water, walk when anxiety hits. Write your thoughts, but do not send them. Pray if faith is part of your life. Put your phone away before midnight. Build your day before your emotions build it for you. This sounds simple, but simple is not easy. Your mind will bargain. It will say, just check once. It will say, just send one message. It will say, just see if she watched your story. It will say, just ask one friend. Do not negotiate with the version of you that wants to stay weak. That version wants relief. The stronger version wants freedom. Choose freedom. Every time you do not check, you become freer. Every time you do not chase, you become freer. Every time you do not post for her reaction, you become freer. Every time you keep your routine while hurting, you become freer. And freedom changes your energy. You stop looking like a man waiting to be chosen. You start looking like a man who has chosen himself. That is what she did not expect. The sixth thing that happens is that you become less predictable in weakness. Before, she may have known your pattern. She pulls away, you chase. She goes cold, you explain. She ignores you, you try harder. She gives a little attention, you become hopeful. She disappears, you collapse. She returns, you forget your standards. That cycle continues until you stop participating in it. When you stay silent longer than she expected, and you do it from strength, you break the cycle. She pulls away, and you do not chase. She goes cold, and you do not beg. She gives a small signal, and you do not collapse. She checks the door, and you do not hand her the keys. That changes the dynamic, not because you are trying to control her, because you are finally controlling yourself. Self control is the foundation of masculine power. A man without self control can be pulled by anything: a notification, a memory, a picture, a rumor, a cold reply, a late night thought, a woman's silence. But a man with self control says, I feel this, but I do not obey it. That sentence can save you. I feel this, but I do not obey it. You feel the urge to text, but you do not send. You feel the urge to check, but you do not open the app. You feel jealousy, but you do not compare. You feel anger, but you do not insult. You feel sadness, but you do not beg. That is how a man grows. And as he grows, his silence becomes heavier. Not heavy with sadness, heavy with presence, heavy with dignity, heavy with self respect. That kind of silence is hard to ignore. Now, understand this clearly. Silence does not guarantee she comes back. No one can promise that. People have free will. Some women will not return. Some should not return. Some endings are protection. Some silence is a blessing you do not recognize yet. But silence done correctly guarantees something better. You get yourself back. And once a man gets himself back, he is no longer easy to control. Her absence does not own him. Her attention does not own him. Her return does not own him. Her silence does not own him. His memories do not own him. His urges do not own him. He can feel, but he can choose. That is freedom. And freedom is attractive because it is not needy. A needy man says, please come back so I can feel okay. A free man says, if you come back with respect, I will listen. If you do not, I will keep walking. That is a different energy. And that energy is what women often feel after your silence lasts longer than they expected. They expected you to break. You did not. They expected you to chase. You did not. They expected you to keep watching. You stopped. They expected your life to pause. You kept building. That does something. But again, do not become addicted to her reaction. Do not sit there thinking, is she feeling it yet? That is still waiting. That is still giving her the center. Your mission is not her reaction. Your mission is your transformation. The seventh thing that happens when you stay silent longer than she expected is that you start seeing her more clearly. When you are chasing, you cannot see clearly. You are too afraid. You ignore red flags. You make excuses. You romanticize the good moments. You treat crumbs like hope. You call confusion chemistry. You call anxiety love. But silence gives you distance. Distance gives you vision. And vision gives you power. You may start realizing she was not as perfect as your pain made her seem. You may start remembering how often you felt confused. You may start seeing that you overgave. You may realize you were more attached to the feeling of being chosen than to the reality of the connection. That clarity matters because sometimes you do not want her back. You want relief. You want your ego repaired. You want the rejection reversed. You want proof that you still mattered. You want the pain to stop, but wanting relief is not the same as wanting a healthy relationship. A strong man learns to separate the two. He asks, do I truly want her back, or do I want to stop feeling rejected? He asks, was this relationship healthy, or was I addicted to the highs and lows? He asks, did I miss her character, or did I miss her attention? He asks, would I choose this again if I was not lonely? Those questions hurt, but they protect you. Because if she comes back and you have no clarity, you will accept anything. A soft message, a little attention, a late night apology, a vague I miss you, and suddenly you are back in the same cycle. But if silence gave you clarity, you move differently. You do not punish her. You do not become cold. You do not act superior. You simply know your standards now. If she returns with clarity, accountability, consistency, and respect, you can listen. If she returns with confusion, mixed signals, attention seeking, and emotional crumbs, you step back. That is not punishment. That is protection. A man with standards does not make reentry cheap. He does not give full access to someone who only gave a small signal. He does not mistake contact for commitment. He does not mistake nostalgia for change. He does not mistake loneliness for love. He watches because actions reveal what words can hide. The eighth thing that happens is that you stop needing to prove your value. This is one of the biggest shifts. When a woman pulls away, many men feel like they are on trial. They think they must present evidence, evidence that they cared, evidence that they were loyal, evidence that they would have changed, evidence that she will not find someone better. But attraction is not a courtroom. You cannot argue someone into desire. You cannot explain your way into respect. You cannot prove your value to someone while acting like you do not believe in it yourself. A man who truly knows his value does not beg someone to see it. He offers his presence. If it is not valued, he steps back. He does not force. He does not chase. He does not become a salesman for his own worth. That is dignity. And dignity is remembered. Maybe she remembers it later. Maybe she does not. But you will remember it. You will remember that even while hurting, you did not abandon yourself. That memory matters more than you think because months from now, whether she returned or not, you will have to live with the man you became during the silence, become someone you respect, become the man who did not beg, become the man who did not stalk, become the man who did not turn pain into pressure, become the man who did not let heartbreak destroy his discipline, become the man who did not chase someone into choosing him. That is the real victory. Now, if she finally reaches out after your long silence, remember this. Her return is not the finish line. It is a test, not a test you play with. A test of your growth. Can you stay calm when the thing you wanted finally happens? Can you respond without overgiving? Can you listen without forgetting the past? Can you be warm without becoming weak? Can you be open without being desperate? That is the test. If she says, I miss you, do not melt. You can say, I hear you. What made you reach out? If she says, I've been thinking about us, you can say, I understand. What do you want to do with that? If she says, can we talk? You can say, we can talk, but I am not rushing back into anything. Those those responses are calm, direct, mature. They do not punish, they do not beg. They invite clarity, and clarity is what you need because if she only wanted attention, clarity may make her uncomfortable. If she truly wants to reconnect, clarity will not scare her. That tells you everything. A sincere woman can respect patience. An attention seeking return usually cannot. So move slowly. Let time reveal intention. Do not let one emotional moment erase months of reality. Do not let a familiar voice make you forget your standards. Do not let loneliness choose for you. You have worked too hard to hand your peace back too cheaply. That is what happens when you stay silent longer than she expected. The silence either pulls her curiosity back towards you or it pulls your power back toward yourself. Either way, you win if you use it correctly, because the real purpose of silence is not to control her. It is to reclaim you, your attention, your discipline, your sleep, your body, your work, your standards, your peace, your future, your direction. A man with direction does not sit by the phone like his life is paused. He has things to do, he has a body to build, he has money to earn, he has skills to sharpen, he has faith to strengthen, he has discipline to prove. He has a future to protect, and the right woman will respect that. The wrong one may not. Let that be information. You are not here to be chosen by every woman. You are here to become a man who does not lose himself when one woman becomes unsure. That is power. So tonight, when the urge comes, do not act from the old version of yourself. Do not send the message. Do not check the story. Do not ask about her. Do not pose for her attention. Do not turn silence into a performance. Stand up, breathe, drink water, walk, train, pray, work, cite, build. Do one thing that makes tomorrow easier because discipline is how a man tells heartbreak, you can hurt me, but you cannot lead me. That is the man she remembers, not the man who begged, not the man who folded, not the man who waited by the phone like his whole identity was trapped inside one notification. The man who hurt but stayed composed. The man who missed her but kept moving. The man who loved but did not abandon himself. The man who turned silence into strength, pain into standards, and loss into direction. That man is hard to forget. That man is hard to replace. That man is free. So stay silent longer than she expected, but do not just be silent. Be disciplined, be focused, be grounded, be honest with yourself, be unavailable to the version of you that begs, be committed to the life you are building. Because the strongest message is not the one you send, it is the man you become when she expected your silence to break. And if she comes back, you do not rush, you do not punish, you do not collapse. You listen, you observe, you let actions prove what words cannot. And if she never comes back, you still win because you did not lose yourself trying to keep someone who was willing to leave. That is the real power of staying silent longer than she expected. You do not stay silent to hurt her. You stay silent to hear yourself again. You stay silent to rebuild your frame. You stay silent to stop feeding the old pattern. You stay silent so your life can become louder than your pain. And in the next video, you will learn the exact signs she is starting to miss you, but is too proud to admit it, and how to handle her return without losing the power you work so hard to build.